Hi. So today we are going to be talking about after you have done the test and you are ready and you have passed, and what happens next. So this is a continuation of what we spoke about in the last video on getting a job here in the UAE. So I'm going to be consulting my notes as I go along because, as I said, the process is long. So some of the stuff I don't even remember. So I'm going to check my notes as I go along to tell you a little more about what will happen. Now, after you have done the test and you have passed, you will receive an email from your sponsor and your recruitment officer. And this person will give you instructions on preparing for your interview. That's the next one, your interview. Now, normally, you will do the application first, then you would go on to do the online assessment, the interview, and then the paperwork. Now, once you have passed the interview, you're good to go. But as I said before, it takes long. All right. So the interview format has been designed to allow for an in-depth review of the following: candidates' academic abilities, your pedagogical abilities, your wider professional skills in relation to teaching, of course, and your previous experience and how have you impacted your school, your previous school. What have you done for the educational system? Your values and their alignment with those of the Emirates school establishment. So it has to align. Okay, there are, as I said before, you're coming from Jamaica. It's a different culture from here, and so you will have a bit of culture clash. So you have to ensure that you are compatible with the culture and able to teach second language learners. The interview is separated into 4 distinct parts. You have introductions, of course, and so they'll ask you to tell you about yourself. Please don't tell them about your grandmother and your mother and your uncle and your auntie and your brother. No, them don't want to hear about that. They are talking about your experience and your impact and, why the education system, why being teaching, why coming to another country to teach, a description of the position the candidate is being interviewed for will be given to you. It will be led by a panel. Normally, you don't see their faces. So that's a good thing, yeah? You write down the names of the panel persons so you can address them by name, because you also have to do a teaching segment and you will use their names, okay? So you will pretend that they are students. That's my tip to you, okay? It's good when you know their names, so you write them down. You're going to briefly cover the following areas: experience, including number of years that you have been teaching, the different grades, the curriculum, the abilities that you have taught, major accomplishments in education, and what are your plans in the next in the next years to come, or plan on about 6 to 8 sentences, about 3 minutes. Talk about 3 minutes is good, okay? One thing with Advectus is they will give you a little pep or a little insight into what you can say to the panel persons. The only thing with Advectus, and this is a sidetrack, is they work with the government. So you get a school to work with that is run by the government. If you need to be working in a private institution, you'll have to maybe look online for work in private institutions, apply for work in private institutions. Test.com is one of the sites that normally have a lot of private school advertising, but you can look for them. Personally look for them and apply to them. And one other thing too, when you're not using a sponsor and you're applying straight, the school that you're applying to, especially the private schools, they prefer when you're in the UAE. So it's a bit difficult to get a private school work, but there are some private schools that sponsors overseas teachers, for foreign teachers, as they would say. So you can check online. It is good to research, as I said before. Find out not only that they are offering a job in your area of speciality, but also can you work in that area. For example, with the school, if you're a female, another tip, you are normally placed in a female school, a girls' school. But if you're a male, you're placed in the boys' schools. All right? So males do not work in female schools, in girls' schools. All right? That's another tip. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So another tip. After you have spoken, you will do a 5-minute lesson plan. Okay? Most important part. Yes, they want to know if you can teach. Can you teach any grade that you desire? You know, they will place you. They will place you in different levels. You will have time to ask questions after you have done your mini teaching, and make it short. Don't go on asking questions after questions after questions. No, I would recommend you ask 2 questions. All right, and especially if it's been covered already and they have spoken about certain things, you don't need to ask the question again. And prepare your question beforehand. Write it down, and then you can ask whatever else you need to ask later. You can even ask your recruitment officer. All right. Tips for your teaching, your micro teaching lesson plan. I will give that in another video shortly. All right. I hope you learned something from this. Is there anything else to add in this section where you do don't be nervous. They require of you to have the knowledge to teach students that are willing to learn. And it is surprising to note there are a lot of students who speak English. So if you won't have some person who say, but how do you teach students who are Arabic? How do you speak the Arabic language? I don't. I only know a few words. It's good to prepare yourselves. So you can go online. There are basic videos that you can watch and learn, and you write these words down and you practice them. Practice them with your friends in Jamaica, your family, and you get to know some of the jargons that you would use in the classroom. Be quiet and sit down and all of those the basic words that you normally would use. But a majority of the classes, the students speak English. They might not speak it fluently, but they will understand you as long as you speak slowly for them and clearly. Be clear with whatever you say, and they will understand. Eventually, they adapt to your accent, and you adapt to theirs, so you will get to understand them even better as they speak. Yes, for now, I will cut this video short and then I will come back speaking about the micro teaching lesson that you would do during your interview. 5 minutes lesson. It is not hard. Trust me.